car stopped. I'm like, oh shit. Then I remember getting out, and we had groceries, so things are gonna melt. So we're trying to figure out. So we had to walk. We had to walk because we don't have cell phones back then. To a phone booth. Back in my day, and I was so worried about my Snickers bar melting. I took it with me. Fucking thing melted in my hand, so I had to eat it. Welcome back to the podcast. Two Dads in a Pod. I'm Miguel. I'm here with Walter. We're the co-hosts of Two Dads in a Pod.
If you didn't already know.
And I think what this podcast is about has a lot of meaning to a lot of father figures out there right now. I start getting my political voice.
You're just trying to do the voice, and I couldn't.
So I know. So this is about dads in a pod, right? Or
for the most part,
about fatherhood,
for the most part. It's you know what? To be honest, it's evolved a little bit in the past year. I mean, in this year,
yeah, it has evolved into like an interview kind of situation.
You know what? It's with the community too, with our community that we have of friends and
yeah.
But we still try circling back around to
right.
I think dads and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about any of your favorite shows, they start off a certain way. And then towards like maybe a mid-season of another season or something,
you're watching something different.
I mean the original point of it just changes as it evolves into something else.
Right.
So
or sometimes they just beat a dead horse.
I mean, you have to switch it up sometimes in order to make it
like, wow, they made it out of that situation, and then they're back in another situation. Whatever the show is.
Yeah.
Ozark.
We're still not doing the it was just a dream thing, so we're not getting there yet.
Yeah, no. So we talk about a lot of dad stuff, and we talk about how we grow up and what we pretty much try to talk about what made us today, what we are today, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing that, and I know we're touching on it, like trying to figure out what to talk about, but like the one thing that popped in my head is like what we grew up watching and how father figures were portrayed on television. And we might get a little nerdy. And
it happens.
It's gonna happen, or you might be surprised. Like, wow, they really watched that as a kid.
Will tell
Wasn't
you
that
a little bit about us. All right.
So, I was maybe 5-6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
WB at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
all the classics. You got Dragon Ball Z. Mm-hmm. You got
Did they
Pokemon.
have Dragon Ball Z on WB?
Pretty sure.
I remember being like
I'll double check.
Like an off channel.
Maybe
but I mean it blends in with all the other things. You'd switch the channel over to Kids WB or Fox Kids.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
Fox box.
Oh god, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I just remember waking up and like you were glued to the television.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then throughout the day, Cartoon Network had their own programming. Nickelodeon had their own programming.
Cartoon Network. The best thing about Cartoon Network is it had cartoons all the time.
Yeah,
that was like
because it was a Cartoon Network.
Anyway. Dum 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 bam bam.
Yeah,
cartoons. Anyway, sorry.
So father figures on the shows.
Are you talking about like sitcoms, or are we just talking just TV in general?
Animated shows.
Animated shows.
Let's
We're
do
doing
that.
animated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So animated shows. So for example, Pokemon. Right. We're gonna get. I don't know if there's some conspiracy theorists out there, but I believe Professor Oak is the real father.
No, he wasn't.
Think about it.
No, Ash's dad was a Pokemon master, and he
left for some milk. Right? I don't know the full story. I don't know. So there's so much content and so many movies and episodes. I don't know if he ever like met up with his dad again or something, because he was 12 when he left.
He was 11.
He was
He's
11.
Still 11.
He's still. I think it's like some sort of purgatory situation going on.
Okay, no, guys. That's why I hate creepypastas and stuff like that, because they just try ruining it. No, I mean, no, they just
like. Do you hear the real story of Little Mermaid or the Rugrats?
No, they just one about Pokemon where he's in a hospital or whatever, and
he's in a coma.
He's in a coma.
Yeah.
And it's just
he's on a life preserver or
something like that.
Machine.
It's all a dream.
It's all a dream
because he never ages.
But just for kid friendly sake, we won't touch it.
Just for everybody's sake, we won't touch on it.
So he leaves. So he gets up late. Like we're just recapping first episode. He gets up late. He runs out the door. No, I don't know. Did he brush his teeth before leaving?
We don't know. He was in his PJs.
He was in his PJs.
PJs.
And by the time he got there, Professor Oak already gave away the 3 Pokemon.
Yep. And he got stuck with Pikachu.
And he got stuck with Pikachu, who had an attitude problem and did not like the Pokeball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's a prison. That kept me and my people in prison in there,
I mean, it was a choice. He just didn't like being in a Pokeball.
Yeah. You think how good of a friends they are now, you think that he'd be okay with. I think he returned them. I remember one.
He tried to return them when Onyx was. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep a straight face while I'm doing this. I'm sorry. When he was battling against Brock,
yeah,
Onyx had him in a bind.
Okay.
And he said Pikachu returned.
Oh, but it was hitting.
But it hit Onyx. So he wasn't able. He was he wasn't able to return them. So maybe it was that one. Either way, he did try, but it didn't work.
But why would you send Pikachu against the Onyx?
Because he was a dumbass. Remember?
Yeah, he wasn't that great.
And
he got lucky in a lot of
anime.
battles.
Always didn't
like the underdog. They love the underdog.
The anime. I mean, do you remember how he beat Brock? He set off the sprinkler, and then water hits Onyx. That's
cheating.
Yeah, there you go. And then
you see the X or the swirl.
Yeah, the swirls, because he was knocked out.
Yeah,
and,
whatever.
I mean, the animes. I mean, it's just
he cheated his way to the top.
Like same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh had the same thing where like the cards.
That split personality.
No. Just like cards did stuff they didn't do in real life. Like
that was holograms. That was holographic.
Yeah, I know, but still, like he used Swords of Revealing Light.
Oh yeah.
And then the
Swords of Revealing Light. Swords of Revealing Light. Kaiba.
I used to magical box.
Or when they do fusions without a fusion card.
Yeah. Or like there is that. And then the fortress that the other dual master whatever had, like they couldn't, his monsters couldn't get out, and of course they all.
Good question. Where was his dad?
He had his grandpa. Where was his mom?
That's true.
Something about anime and like dads sometimes aren't just there.
I mean, think about Batman.
Well, I mean, yeah,
the darker side.
It was darker side. I mean, they got killed in front of his eyes.
Superman. They sent him away before they blew
Superman's
up.
a bitch, so whatever. I don't care about it. I'm sorry. I'm more team Batman when it comes to Superman.
The floor starts shaking or the walls. Superman shows up. What'd you say about my people? What'd you say? What'd you say about me?
But okay, let's try circling back here.
So Pokemon.
So I mean,
or dad figures in general.
Dad figures in general. I mean, yeah, they're.
And if they were present, there were some sort of like comic relief.
Yeah, I know, right?
Think about it.
They weren't very that.
Jimmy Neutron.
Oh yeah.
Why, kids?
Well, Jimbo.
Yeah. Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah. His dad was an idiot. Dinkelberg. Dexter's Laboratory. Well, he was more of a businessman. He just like.
Both his parents weren't really.
Yeah, they were like the stereotype mom and pop while he had his laboratory down at the bottom. Whatever.
That's true.
Yeah. So
there was that one episode where he made that mom robot.
Oh yeah.
And like both Dexter and Dee Dee are on the sofa when it gets like thrown outside of the house through the wall, and the dad's walking home and goes, "Hey, need to put back in the house." That's it.
Oblivious. So dads are oblivious or gone or not there.
Which isn't also fake though.
Yeah.
Like, think about how many things you let brush by versus what like a mom does.
Well, think about it. Okay, so we're sitting down watching these shows, right? And that's the dad we're seeing, and then we look back at our dad or something, and then we see them doing something similar, exact same thing. All of a sudden, our brain register that's the dad. That's normal.
Well, I guess if we're like dads aren't really there or present or always at work, because that was almost the thing. That was my situation. My situation was my dad was always at work. I would see him when he got back home from work, but he was always at work. His only day off was like on Monday.
Saturday, Sunday for us. Well, Saturday there was a lot of overtime. They'd take advantage of it and just work.
Yeah.
And Sunday usually was like their day off, and still wake up 7:00 in the mornings on Sunday. clean the whole house for nobody to come by. Like it was like the weirdest things. Like nobody's coming. Like why are we wiping down all these all these like picture frames?
I'm sure they were trained to do that as kids.
Yeah, just keep kids
just-
busy kind of thing.
I don't even.
Because back in Mexico, they were
Yeah,
they were
you
harvesting
you had-
beans. They
Oh,
were
that's right. Yeah.
tending to livestock and so everybody
was the
pretty much
whole-
had their own small little
Maybe it was the
farm.
whole like just in case somebody comes over, the house is not a mess. And then you're just
Nobody came over.
you're just I know, but you're just conditioned to that. Like
Yeah.
somebody's coming
Oh,
over.
because it represents like your household kind of thing.
It
Like,
represents you. Remember, it represents the whole like how they see you.
I
Like
got a haircut yesterday, and I think there's a hair just.
I can't. If I get a haircut, I have to take a shower immediately.
No, I took a shower. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong. I didn't say I did not take a shower.
good point. Yeah, I assume. I apologize.
You know what happens when you assume.
I
No,
apologize.
just kidding. No, I went to bed. There's hair everywhere. I did walk around a little bit after this, and I found like little patches on the floor. I'm like, oh, I should
Yeah, there you
have.
go. You should have just showered
I
right
should just
after.
right after.
right
Yeah, so you're right. You're
Yeah.
still right. I should have showered right after.
I retract my apology.
Fuck your
apology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think here's something. There's a tough it out, like man. Kidding. Does that hurt? No. All right.
Did those shows have manly men though?
Yes, but they were usually not a family member.
So like, I mean, like a dad though. Was it? Oh, I guess
Oh.
you're right. Yeah. I mean, were the dads ever really like men, or was it just like a man thing to just
Okay.
be at work?
I think it was the normal like dad was go to work. I think.
Yeah.
Or not be there,
Uh huh.
or be silly, or be some sort of mad scientist, Powerpuff Girls, and
That was a good show.
yeah. But I think if there ever was like a muscle kind of
Mhm.
male figure in the cartoons, it was usually like
The uncle.
the uncle. No, not the uncle. The uncle was also a weird guy for some reason.
Maybe if it was like a
think-
single uncle.
Maybe, or like they try to make it a cool uncle. I can't think of any uncles on the shows though.
That's a good point. At least not recurring characters.
But usually the
Yeah.
buff guys are like portrayed
Not their dad.
off of not their
Not their
dad,
dad, yeah.
not family member, and portrayed off of like a movie star or something like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It'd be best whenever they have somebody with an off Arnold accent.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's always my favorite. Ah.
Dude, that is.
Yeah, Jurgen. Yeah,
Jurgen.
Jurgen. My favorite line that he did was, "That was so funny. My muscles are still laughing." And he's like, "Ah, ah."
That was a good one.
Man.
The only one I can think of right now, as far as a father figure who was somewhat wise and present,
Mhm.
Rocket Power.
He was still
He was-
very laid back though.
He was very laid back, but he had like some, or at least him and his buddy had some wisdom. Yeah, Tito.
They did have some, maybe more Tito. Again,
More
not the
Ti-
dad,
yeah, that's
not the
true.
dad.
Give
Tito
me the
had-
stink eye.
yeah. as the old.
I love how we're quoting like bits and pieces of what we're mentioning.
We clearly watched all of
Yeah,
it.
we watched. If you watched it, comment down below on what you,
Yeah, what
part
do you remember?
What do you remember? But no, a lot of father figures again either not present or disappeared or something happened to them.
Brock's dad,
Brock.
Brock from Pokemon. His dad wasn't present.
Oh yeah, his dad was.
Remember, and
Misty's dad either. They're all teenagers
That's
or
true.
preteens.
Misty had her sisters
Yeah, but
from Pokemon. If anybody's still wondering what we just transitioned
Yeah.
on to, but Brock, remember he had how many, like 7 brothers, 12 brothers and sisters or whatever.
something like that. Yeah.
And then at the end, like
the only father figure was like Professor
it was
Oak.
it
technically.
was Brock, to his brothers and sisters, and then at the end of that,
and then he just left them.
no, he did it because his dad came back to
Oh,
help Ash. Remember?
That's right. I remember he
And
looked
then
the
he's
same, but with more lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was older.
And then he got he was like, no, now you're doing business. I'm gonna go do my own shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He-
I'm done with this.
But
I'm
basically,
moved out.
both
What is
parents,
it,
like-
15,
I think he was a little older than Ash and Misty.
a little taller. Yeah.
He was always horny.
Well, keep in mind he had to be like super like responsible up until he left. So
That was dramatic.
maybe
I'm
there was
sorry.
some like repressed.
Everybody remembers Brock. He was always hitting on like Nurse Joy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're the most
Yeah.
beautiful woman I've
Yeah, there
ever
you go.
seen.
There's that one episode where he's like, the only bad thing about summer is that we miss all the girls in bikinis. He never hit on Misty.
I think Ash called dibs or something.
Oh, because
telling
Ash
you.
was never like. I had a crush on Misty when I was.
I feel like I remember.
I had a crush on Misty. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna confess. I had a huge crush on Misty. I was in 4th grade. Okay, I had a huge crush on Misty. I mean, she had short shorts, a midriff top, and suspenders for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Like, where are the shorts
would-
going?
What were the suspenders for? Yeah, exactly. Where are the shorts going? They're already hugged. They're already booty hugging shorts. Like the suspenders weren't gonna do anything.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, I remember. I don't know if it's true or somebody dubbed it or something, but there was a scene where they were like, I guess they're obviously they're traveling, but like, okay, we'll make camp here, and then Ash like turns to like Misty or something. He's like, all right, make some food or something. Like, do you remember seeing a scene
No,
like
I
that?
don't remember that. I don't think that ever happened because Brock usually was the one that always made the food.
Oh, this is before Brock, I think. Like
Yeah,
they
only her and Brock were together for like. I mean, her and Ash were together for like 2-3 episodes before
yeah.
they got. To,
We'll have to rewatch and see if
Yeah.
it happens, but.
might have been.
I remember something like super like misogynistic like that. Like Ash was so used to like the girl making the food.
I don't know.
Something like
we'd
that.
We'd have to look into that.
We'll
I
have to
don't
look
remember
into
that.
I know because I know Dragon Ball when Goku was really small.
Mm-hmm.
He there's a scene where he says like ew, nobody wants to see your like your underwear or sort of your area or whatever. And because like I guess Bulma was obviously she was like a teenager or whatever at
She
the
was
time.
16, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I guess she was wearing like
I'm sorry,
like,
but anime is very pervy.
Yes.
Anybody who doesn't know anime, yeah. But I mean,
well, Jimmy Neutron, I saw a video where they were like commenting on all the stuff that Jimmy Neutron's dad would say, and there was a time where like oh god, I'm gonna have to like
wasn't it like he was also like
he was
really,
super
like,
pervy, and no, the mom and dad, they were
Uh-huh.
both very like suggestive,
like they were swingers or something like that.
like swingers,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just constantly like, oh, okay, it's that time of day, you know, and he's walking upstairs following after her while after she's like
I
possessed
didn't
or
watch
something.
I didn't watch too much of Jimmy Neutron. I watched the movie and I didn't really care much for the show too much.
Oh, the movie. Did you watch the one that crosses over with Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, I watched those because I didn't watch Fairly Odd Parents and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
crossover.
Yeah, those were. That was back when the multiverse wasn't a popular thing.
I know, right? Even though comics at that point have done it for so long,
Yeah,
it just
and
like it didn't hit media until
Nickelodeon got it before they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm surprised Dexter didn't explore. I don't remember Dexter exploring any of that.
You know, I remember Cartoon Network had a like. Remember the Cartoon Network games on the internet? Like back
Oh,
in the day?
yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah.
they were good. There was one where it was like a multiverse one, and it was Dexter was kind of like the head honcho, and his 3D like sprite was even like more enhanced, and he looked a little older, and you got to pick a bunch of different from the characters from the Cartoon Network multiverse and like fight aliens or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
They kind of did that, but see another. Are we trying to explore better dads or just dads in general here?
I don't know. We're going down this road of
Nostalgia, obviously.
nostalgia for sure. But like, okay, so what? Let's start this way. Let's keep it going with what dad did you find to be the best? No one dad is better, but just in like
Non-anime or just
uh.
or were
no,
we
let's
doing
stick with cartoons.
Let's stick with cartoons.
Cartoons,
like
including
American-
anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just animation in general.
Yeah.
Um,
We can leave Bleach out of it because he was like beating up his
I didn't watch Bleach.
Ichigo.
I
quite-
didn't watch Bleach.
Well, the first episode's like, son, I must prepare you for the world, and he's like, they're fighting as soon as he walks to the door, and he's like, 15,
Was it play fighting or was it like?
like punching each other.
Well, you might. Japanese culture is a little different.
Yeah, I know.
So the best dad that I can think of. I really put him on the spot here because it's unfortunately I can't say there are that many
Yeah.
like ones that are always there. But then again, like the shows really weren't about the dad.
No, it's mostly about the kid.
It's always usually about the kid, but I mean, Master Splinter to an extent was a good dad to the turtles.
Yeah.
You know, he taught them a lot, but then again, he kind of would send them to destroy,
fight as teenagers.
fight his adversary.
Yeah.
He made it about the family,
Yeah.
which later on they're like, this isn't our fight,
Yeah.
you know. But I guess there you can go the whole like rebellion against your parents as teenagers,
Yeah.
right? You just don't want to do whatever they want you to do. I don't know. Maybe Vegeta.
Maybe he was a hard ass.
He was a hard ass, but he did spend a lot of time with his family. And later on, he would
Surprisingly, a lot of time.
surprising, but he was always mad about it.
Yeah, he
Which
would.
is
He'd be like, "Stop crying, and I'll
Yeah.
take you to that."
To the park,
To the
remember?
park,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is funny because now that I think about it, that relates a lot to my dad. It's like,
Are we Saiyans?
oh, I know. Oh, I really wish I was.
That's funny.
Because like we we would go to Disneyland and stuff, and yeah, he was usually kind of like
Yeah.
not the most happiest about it, but like he would do it. I remember there was one episode of Dragon Ball Super where they're spending family time and they're on this train, and the whole time Vegeta's just kind of like sitting in the cart though, still
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, because as much as I love Goku, but as much as I want to say it, like he was kind of absent a lot of it too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, when he shows up, his kid Goten is like 4,
Yeah, and he's dead.
and he's
And
dead.
He's
I mean, granted, he's dead, but when he comes back to visit as
because
a
well, I mean, think of okay, so he dies the first time when Gohan is 3 after his brother Raditz. Sorry guys, after his brother Raditz takes over and he
Yeah.
learns about the Saiyans and he
Yeah.
dies, and then Piccolo ends up kind of becoming his Gohan's father
Stepdad,
figure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's in a way. He comes back and you know, then they go off to Namek. He's not there again.
he shows up the last
He
minute.
shows up,
Yeah.
and then like the only
and then
time
he sends
there's
him away.
the only time there was like father son moments was during
Hyperbolic time chamber.
no before that. Before when the androids, when Trunks first comes and tells him about the androids,
Oh, there
then
was a
they're
brief.
training.
there
There's
was
training
a-
for the androids,
Yeah.
and then Goku gets the virus, and then there's
Something always comes up.
There always comes up. There's and then there's training in the hyperbolic time chamber, and then post that mostly he's dead. But usually like when it goes into Dragon Ball Super, he just kind of wants to go train the whole time. Goku's just not really like.
Yeah, he's galaxies away when he goes trains with Whis.
But I mean, he can. Yeah, that's true. But he can like instant
Yeah.
transmission whenever he wants. But still, he's just his mind at that point is just I just want to
Can
train.
you imagine? Like, there's no problems. There's peace in the Dragon Ball Z universe or Dragon Ball Super, whatever. And he goes, "Ah, feel that power?" And then he's
Yeah. But you know what? That could also kind of if we're
out.
trying to kind of like
I'm gonna get some
relate
milk.
here. If we're trying to relate here, yeah, no. To dads, at least like maybe dads that were more traditional.
Yeah,
If you weren't doing anything, well, there's probably work to be done,
right.
or you need to do more overtime so the family can do more things.
The one how about this relate to?
Okay,
The one I relate to is the dad from Rugrats.
Stu.
Always trying to invent something. Always trying to like entrepreneurship shit.
Yeah,
You know,
you relate to that?
Like
Like you
Always trying to-
yourself, or
me
your
myself.
Dad? Oh, you
Me
yourself.
myself.
Okay.
No, my dad would be more like Vegeta for sure. I'm gonna stick to that Saiyan part.
We just want to be Saiyans.
I know.
Was there ever a point when you tried powering up, or at least doing a Kamehameha?
So maybe a spirit bomb every once in a while. Just put your hands up.
I didn't try powering up, but I remember trying doing a Kamehameha.
Have you ever tried to do like a Chidori?
Probably.
Like a,
Probably. I mean,
back to over to Naruto.
There wasn't a time where I did try doing the hand signals. You know.
Well, every once in a while I'll be walking around doing some weird stuff and like, whoa, how'd you do? I'm just making shit up as I go.
No,
you
I
know.
stopped doing that after.
You know, it would suck if I mean, it'd be cool, but suck if I did something and all of a sudden fire came out. Whoops. What started the fire, PG&E? Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. God, man.
Like this is one thing that I've read one time, and for some reason I do it myself. It's like every once in a while in my head I think I know you can read my mind, just in case somebody's reading my mind.
I haven't done that one.
Because you never know. Just,
I know, right?
you know?
Spook somebody out there. Oh shit!
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny. Yeah, I know you can read my mind. And then they look at me like, "Oh shit!" Like I was just thinking that. Can you actually read my mind? What am I thinking? Stop thinking about tacos.
Homer did that to Bart one time. I was like, "Boy, I know you can read my mind." Meow 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 meow
meow. There was this movie that came out, Chaos Walking with Tom Holland, where like the guys you can hear you can physically see their thoughts. And I thought that was pretty cool because like in my head I'm like, oh, you can like you concentrate, you can actually create something, an image, because you're literally that's what you're thinking about.
Oh right.
And everybody had a tough time controlling it. Some people were really good, but then like that character and his dad were really good at creating an entire image.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's crazy.
So
that'd be kind of cool, but at the same time sucks.
Kind of what the Green Lantern does.
A little bit
with his ring.
If you can control it though, like
okay,
because it was hard to control because you can see like the pulsating like aura trying to manifest itself. Really good movie. You know, not like amazing, but definitely sci-fi for sure.
Right.
I think Green Lantern is another cartoon, right? What was his dad like? Did they talk about dad with superheroes?
I don't know.
Barry Allen, his dad's in prison, which he can break out at any moment, but he decides not to.
I'm not really too familiar with DC. I mostly do Marvel, but I know a little bit DC. DC Batman's my guy.
Yeah,
that's clearly
everybody's.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people like Superman.
You know, I think a lot of people like Superman mainly because of like powers, but like his story is very
powerful. It's just like everything. Like if you look at the old comics, I'll use my super math. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Now, I think that was an incentive for like kids in school to like, oh, you can become just like him if you study. You know?
Yeah.
I remember.
It was it was definitely more campy back then.
Yeah, for sure. I think cartoon dads are very very stereotypical.
They say a lot of the creators. You know, I think usually
like, oh, this I got this idea from my dad.
Mostly. Right. I mean, if you think of creativity in anything that you start off with, you start off with something close to you or something that you've thought of. I mean, even if you think of us doing this show, it started off because, well, we're dads. We had our kids, and then we're like, let's start comparing to how we were raised and go through all that tragedy. And
let's relive all
those moments and dissect them and be like, no wonder I'm like this.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, honestly, that was the premise of this whole show.
Yeah.
To begin with.
I think there's a lot of things that we kind of, I think in my opinion, there's a lot of things that I for sure block out until we start talking about it. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. Yeah. This used to happen. But like you know, since, my dad passed away a few years ago, you sort of just remember the good stuff. But then when we're talking about all the other things we did,
I guess, I don't know. You're just kind of conditioned to a point until you realize that you can break out of that cycle of conditioning. And you're like, okay, well, let me honestly go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and for the most part, it was positive. It's just, there was a lot of like, I guess you can call it filler moments where there was like no communication or connecting between the parent and the child.
Sometimes I hate to say, but it really does sound like we talk shit about our parents a lot. But in reality, I mean, it's just we're just dissecting it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think it's wrong to do that. I think it really helps you out. It's helped me out. I mean, it's helped me out how I think about things, and then you change, and you kind of become a better person.
Yeah.
Or you try to become a better person, depending on how you look at life and what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely kids do have a way of changing you. I know. I don't think I would have been like this had I not had kids.
Yeah.
Because you, even just on the way that they act or how they grow up, I don't know. You just think there's been more things to think about for me when I had kids. It was, I'm still set in my ways in some ways, but I'm learning to break out of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's just it helps.
It's just it's just how it is. I think and I was thinking about it this yesterday for some reason when I was walking to my car after work, and I was like, every single family member and like growing up, the ones you obviously can remember experiencing
Mm-hmm.
moments with and stuff like that, kind of chipped you to where you are today, like molded you a little bit,
Oh yeah.
you know. And it's like if you take one piece away or one part of process away, you start thinking like, what kind of person would I have been, you know?
Oh, had
Had that person not been there, or if so I think about this all the time. So my mom, my real father,
yeah.
you know, apparently he's Cuban and he lives in Florida. I never met him.
Right.
And she while she was pregnant,
He
me
left to be a Pokemon master.
he went left to be a
Pokemon
Pokemon
master,
master,
okay, yeah,
and I went out and tried to become one and failed miserably. No, so she moved over. She followed him.
Sorry. Continue.
She followed him over to Florida,
Yeah.
and I guess that's when she found out he had another family over there.
Oh.
So I was obviously upset, and my grandpa went over and picked her up and brought her back. And since then, like communication between them. So like I didn't know my real father and didn't there, but it makes me wonder, is like, what if she went over there, and he took her in?
Oh, so you're thinking
I would have been,
so
oh
you're
yeah,
thinking
Chico.
that,
Darker complexion, maybe.
I mean,
Closer to the sun, you know.
That's true, yeah.
You never know. You know, I could have been, I don't know.
Hating Fidel Castro even more.
Probably, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what stereotypes in Florida there are, but I know for sure Cubans, Cubans at least. And yeah, so I think about that sometimes. You know, what direction we would have gone. What if my dad, my sister's dad, what if they didn't hang out? You know, I remember. I don't know. When I was a kid, I remember me and my brother we were really small. 5. I was like 4, maybe. He was 3. And I remember he took us to the beach or something. And I'm guessing it was like their first date because they were like holding hands and all that stuff.
So this is your mom now with your stepdad.
No, she's.
No. I'm saying.
Oh
this
yeah.
Story,
No, at this point, yeah.
At this point, okay. Sorry,
So,
I'm just trying to like, stay on.
So he like they went like, I don't know. I think it was like Morro Bay or something. I remember a lot of like sticks on the sand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing like Morro Bay-ish, Cayucas, Cambria,
Okay,
something like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And it was really cold, so yeah.
Okay, then yeah, that sounds like that.
And I remember being in the car, and I remember him driving us back, and it was like I remember like sunrise, so like we were out all night. So he was out with us in his Pontiac Trans Am, us in the back seat, and my mom. And then after that, he kind of just like stayed in our life, whatever. And I'm like, it's like I hope my mom realized, like, I remember that stuff, like, because later on they weren't so friendly with each other. Obviously, they separated at some point, right? And I was just like, I remember that honeymoon stage that you guys had and all that stuff. So like, I know there's that there was that version of the guy,
Okay.
you know, but I got to experience the dad version because he was a dad after that.
Yeah.
You know. Funny.
Unfortunately, I grew up with my parents. Like, they never held hands. They never kissed. They just never did any of that. And me, if we're talking about like watching TV or cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it fucked me up, but I just remember. I don't know, maybe.
You saw the parents kiss, like, must be nice. Like,
yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's different. I remember asking them a couple times when I was little. I don't remember what bullshit answer they gave me.
Yeah.
Must have blocked it out. But like, I grew up and like, I remember thinking that when I was little, and being like, I don't want that with my kids.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there was times where I was like 4 or 5 years old, and it's kind of fucked up, honestly, to think about that. Like a 4 or 5 year old is thinking about what they're not going to do when they have kids. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you're
Yeah.
little. You shouldn't be even thinking about that stuff, right?
Well, yeah. Or when you see like a movie or a kid friendly movie when we were kids about like 2 parents kissing, and you see the other kids like, ew.
Yeah, you're just
and
like,
my parents don't do that.
No, my parents don't do that. Yeah, my
Who
parents.
that? Is that a white people thing?
You're not far. Oh my god, you're not far off from the. I mean, yeah, we grow up in our own little bubble, and we think
Yeah.
maybe that's just the way it is. And yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I probably had those, and you know what? I think I did have those thoughts all the time because the sitcoms and stuff I'd be watching was always. I mean, we're in the U.S., so especially in the early '90s, all you saw were like white people sitcoms. I'm not
Right.
trying to, I'm sorry to say it that way, but it was, predominantly white families. You had a couple, I mean, you had what? How many black families did we see growing up in like sitcoms? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, there's one. Family Matters, there's another one. But
I
like,
think there was one more.
I can't remember anymore really that much. But for the most,
Huxtables?
oh yeah, Cosby Show.
Cosby Show.
Yeah, yeah, Cosby Show. But we didn't. I mean, that was kind of it. Definitely no Mexican ones. We never got any of those.
Not until I was like maybe in my teens. Lopez.
George
George
Lopez show, yeah, the George Lopez show, yeah, that was
That was
funny.
pretty much it.
I
Everything
think
else
the Brothers Garcia, which I never watched, my sister did.
I don't
See, there you go. It's like later Nickelodeon by the time, but
yeah,
we didn't.
we were so engraved in either anime cartoons or Disney Channel.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, there really isn't that much like Mexican, Hispanic,
Yeah.
Latino, like unless you're watching like Univision.
Yeah, unless you and that's a different kind of family.
Oh, that exactly.
Drama.
That exactly. The whole thing is drama, so you don't even get the other
You
stuff.
think they didn't like show PDA because like if you did, it was like, oh, you're cheating on each other. You know?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, right? The wives.
Maldito.
¿Y ella qué? ¿Cómo se llama?
Oh yeah,
Very dramatic. but
Very-
anyway,
very dramatic. So
What is
that's why they were like walking around eggshells with each other or something. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't
But then
know.
again, I mean, I didn't watch many novelas, so I wouldn't really know. I just, what you tuned in for the most part was basically
Yeah.
the same thing you got in the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, I didn't grow up with parents sound like they loved each other, and I mean, they're
Yeah.
divorced now, so obviously, like, there was probably a lot going on back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, your kids are always watching, and they're always just like, there's a memory that they're gonna remember that you're not gonna remember until maybe like 20 years later, and you're like, shit,
Yeah.
you knew about
Like,
that?
oh shit,
Oh,
you know?
shit, yeah.
Remember that?
Lucky for my parents, I never really had I didn't really have a connection with either of them where I would tell them these things because
Oh.
I never, maybe it's because I was a middle child, but I can't safely say that I had a parent that I could tell anything to. Until this day, I'm still like that. I just
Yeah,
never did.
there's a lot of things I probably haven't told my mom that I would like to at some point.
Mm.
But recently, like I think now that I have a kid and we're talking and stuff like that, and she'll make a connection. Tu antes hacías eso, that like you used to do the same thing that Sophia's doing right now.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh yeah, and so like I bring up some shit too. You remember when?
See, I mean, that's kind of, I'm more of a sarcastic dad when it comes to that too. I'll be like, well, then you should have done, like,
There was, I don't know why. I don't know why it got engraved in my head or something. But I remember taking my mom took my dad to Pontiac Trans Am. We went to get groceries at Food for Less at Tascadero.
oh, the old classic one.
Everybody's gonna make a connection there at some
Oh,
point.
yeah.
right?
Right.
Paso Robles area. You all went to Food for Less
You went to
instead.
Food for Less Tascadero.
Yeah.
I did too. I remember
Yeah.
being there all the time.
And I guess the car, like having car engines, because on the way back, you remember that Motel 6 billboard?
Probably.
Like right when you pass where Home Depot is now,
Mhm.
like that weird curve, and there was always a.
It's not there anymore, right?
It's not there anymore.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
something
yeah.
else now.
Probably, yeah.
But Motel 6
Yeah.
spent quite a bit of money because I saw it there for years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the car stopped. Like, oh shit! Then I remember getting out, and we had groceries, so things are gonna melt, so we're trying to figure out. So we had to walk. We had to walk because we don't have cell phones back then. To a phone booth. Back in my day, and I was so worried about my Snickers bar melting. I took it with me. Fucking thing melted in my hand, so I had to eat it. I could have just left it in the car and it would have been fine, probably.
But you wanted it now.
Yeah. I just didn't want it to like melt. And then my hand creating the heat melted the chocolate. anyway. So we got to the phone booth, called my uncle. We walked back on the highway,
Mm-hmm.
and I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, like 5 or 6. And I remember my mom asking me to like push the car. I don't know if she was trying to like jumpstart it or something,
Or get it going. Yeah.
or get it going, or move it closer. I registered moving it closer to the billboard for some reason, or
Mhm.
moving it a little bit more to the right. I don't know, but I remember like I pushed the fucking car. That thing was fucking like metal and everything.
Mhm.
And I remember being 5, 6 years old pushing the car, and then when we got to my grandma's. And I think this is why I remember that memory so much. She made a comment like, he's not gonna remember this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, watch it. It's like in my
Oh, so
head.
you made it a point.
I made it a point to remember that
this, yeah.
the whole story. Like I don't know why, but in my head I'm like,
What did she say? Do you remember? I mean, obviously you remember.
no, I bring it up every once in a while. Hey, remember when I pushed that car when I was 6?
Oh,
was
it's just
strong.
that.
Yeah, just
It was
that.
just that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was just that.
That was it. Because she said I'm not gonna remember when I'm older.
You remember?
It probably, you know what's funny? I think about this too. It's like, what if she was talking about something completely different? And she's like, he's probably not gonna remember.
Well, that's why I asked you. You're like, what?
Right.
What was it?
So it was, and because I was such in a high that I pushed the car. Maybe that's.
Dude, you went Super Saiyan.
I went Super Saiyan. I was like, ah, yeah.
For 5 episodes.
You know what helped? Kaioken. Kaioken times 5.
You charged for 5 episodes, right?
You know, it'd be funny if we end this episode with and then the next episode we do welcome back.
Well, you have to get that guy. You have to get the voice announcer guy who's like,
I want it to destroy my world, and like
tune in next time.
Oh,
for Dragon Ball Z.
oh yeah, they don't do that anymore, huh? I remember when I was a kid, I heard that, and I'm like, oh shit, it's about to start.
I think Dragon Ball Z.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z,
he was very
the Z Fighters.
he was very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Goku
Yeah.
is still powering up.
Goku faced off against the evil Frieza.
Yeah. Monkeys. Frieza's racist, I'm telling you.
No, I mean he did genocide.
That's true. He destroyed a whole
He destroyed
planet.
a whole planet. He wanted
Multiple planets, but that one for sure.
But that one for sure. He wanted to exterminate all the Saiyans, a race.
Erase. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like something
was-
about like a Super Saiyan coming up in the ranks.
No, it's the tail of the Super Saiyan scared him so.
So once they got too
scared him
strong,
enough,
Yeah.
it scared him enough that he just exterminated all. So none of them can be Super Saiyans.
which is funny because I did see the Bardock
Mhm.
movie,
Oh yeah.
and he became Super Saiyan. He helped that, and he like there's a sort of like
Oh, that
Frieza,
one where
not
he, like,
Frieza,
went back in time.
but it was
kinda
like
thing?
Frieza's. like great aunt or
Descendant-
uncle.
Nah, yeah. I
Like,
remember that.
He's like, tell the family about the Super Saiyan,
Yes, yeah,
and then
yeah.
passes away. I'm
He
like,
basically created his
what?
own.
his own
I
story.
don't know how canon that is.
I don't think it is.
I-
But it was nice to know
Mm.
what happened, like to keep it going, kind of
It
thing.
was just kind of weird. Like he got instead of dying, he went back in time. Like how the hell did that happen?
It's Dragon Ball. We're flying around in space.
I get
I don't
it.
know.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Why did we even get to this?
I don't know.
But anyway, so you remember.
Sorry, that memory stuck with me, and it's probably something along the lines of like,
Oh god.
it's probably something like super important and not about pushing the car.
But you made it about pushing.
But I made it about pushing the car.
Your little kid.
I was so on the high. Like, what little kid wouldn't be proud of themselves pushing the car? Like,
Dude, you're 4 or 5 years old. You just went Super Saiyan. Of course you would be.
exactly. I had a Gohan moment, you know.
You had a Go 10 and Trunks moment. They went Super Saiyan at like 4 and 5.
No, so Gohan.
Oh, okay.
You know that the hidden power when he got
Oh,
upset or
yeah,
something,
yeah.
Like,
That's
dirtied
the
it,
late-
and
the
then
latent-
knocked out.
Oh yeah, that's right. The latent. Yeah,
That's one. That's one thing I don't understand with Dragon Ball Z is like they were always like powering up, and then when they powered down, they were fine if they didn't battle as much. But then Gohan would power up all this power and then knock out because he got tired.
Well, the first
Conditioning, maybe.
time. No, he was 3 when he did it the first time,
That's true.
and he hit his head.
That's true.
He bashed right into Raditz.
Raditz, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, that's exactly the
Freaking animation.
That's exactly the. No, anime goes extra. If anything, anime and novelas have something in common is how extra they are.
Yeah.
You think about that.
That's very true, and I think the American cartoons have more of a hidden message to things. They hide it really well.
Oh, subliminals and stuff.
Subliminal
They do that
messaging,
all
yeah.
the time.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, no, animes are straightforward.
Well,
You get the pervy guy,
like
you get-
Dexter's Laboratory when Dad forgets to shave.
Oh my god! Oh, how
You are so rugged.
I still remember that.
And then he grows a beard and it freaking uses it to fight bad guys.
Action Hank.
You have a beard.
He calls him Little Hank. The rugged part just did it.
You know, it doesn't help that my wife solidifies the whole beard thing because she loves the beard, and I'm like, and I can't shave the whole thing off because of that.
Yeah,
So
I
and
stopped
it always
shaving-
brings me back to that episode. You are
It-
so
Yeah,
rugged.
I stopped shaving my beard like years ago now, and I think it went with my
Yeah,
wife said, "Yeah,
yeah.
you look better in a beard." Well,
Yeah.
well, then I guess that's staying on now.
Yeah.
I trim. I don't shave anymore.
Yeah.
That's about it. But
I trim. Yeah.
there was that one episode where Dexter put Dee Dee in his mom's body or something, or made a body for the mom, so he can, because he thought he was gonna get in trouble at school.
Oh, okay.
Remember that? And he wanted her to fill in, and then Dexter's dad
keeps
comes
trying
and
to
he's
get
all-
frisky.
yeah, he gets frisky, and then she's like, "Ew, get off of me!" He goes, "What's for dinner?" Like, he was just like, "What else is new?" You know.
We laugh because it's relatable a little bit, but
A little bit.
it's God, it's so fun. It's why like cartoons were like
Well,
a
that's
big
what I'm
part of our
saying,
life when we were kids, and
Well, that's the great thing about cartoons is like they do it because they know some parents are roped into watching a cartoon
with them, yeah.
with them.
So they
And
have
then
to put
they have to put some that's gonna make them
subliminal
laugh.
messaging.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
make
if
them
you
laugh.
look at Pixar movies, a
I
lot of
have-
subliminal messaging.
Before we end the episode, I have one that I remember when
Yeah.
I took Lexi to watch the Lego Batman movie.
Okay,
Okay, and that one didn't have too many subliminals, but man, do I love it when they do that. Watching Lego, it was a good good movie. I liked it.
yeah.
But when he meets Robin's a little boy, and he's like
Oh yeah.
pestering Batman,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hi, I'm your biggest." He was like, I think it was when he was Bruce Wayne. He's like, "I'm your biggest fan." He goes, "My friends, my name is Richard Grayson, but my friends call me Dick." And he goes, "Wow, yeah, kids get."
Kids gonna be real hurtful.
Yeah, yeah, he goes, "Kids can be cruel," and I was the only one in that theater that busted up laughing. I could hear myself,
Yeah.
and I turned around and no other dad was laughing. I'm like, man, fuck, you guys weren't even paying attention. That was a
You
good
probably
joke.
just started a conversation between them and their kids. Like, why was he laughing during that time?
Not my fault. It was a funny joke.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But anyway.
How'd you get in the back cave? All right.
Anyway, well, it was fun.
Thanks for listening
Thanks
in.
for listening in.
Check us out on YouTube, Spotify if you're not on either one.
Give
Vice
us,
versa. Watch it twice.
yeah, give us a subscribe.
not?
You know, tell your friends, tell anybody.
Comments.
Repost our stuff, comments. Anything's welcome, honestly. We don't even care if it's bad. Just tell us something.
Yeah, tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah.
Welcome it.
Make us make conversation for our next episode.
Exactly.
See you later. That too. Almost forgot.